The story begins with the fact that during the event, the girl and the guy went to a separate room. There they were together all night. The girl began to wake up a little, but did not immediately understand what happened between them. At some point, she opens her eyes and sees a guy next to him. His name is Shen. He was still sleeping. When suddenly she abruptly stands up and thinks if there really was something between them, but she can't remember anything because of the amount of drink she drank. They were half naked, and of course there were many thoughts about what they could do before they fell asleep. At that moment, the guy's mom noticed that she hadn't seen him for a long time, and decided to look for him together with someone, since he doesn't answer calls. The girl hears how they come closer and start to open the door. When they searched for Shen in different rooms, they did not expect to see such a thing. They didn't realize right away what was going on. But then everything became clear. For them it was a real shock, and at that time the girl felt very uncomfortable. This made his mom incredibly infuriated. She immediately ordered that girl be removed from her son, because it was impossible to look at such. Some security guard took the girl's hand to get her out of bed. He pushed her very hard to the floor. At this time, she really wished Shen would finally wake up and deal with them. Unfortunately, the girl did not yet know how cruel his mother was, and what she was capable of. The woman always thought that the girls who usually date him want to get the status and everything that belongs to their family in this way. Therefore, she was always very rude to them and tried to save her son. When suddenly she hit the girl very hard in the face. After that, she said that the bride had already been chosen for a long time, and she is the most capable of being someone's mistress. She does not deserve more. All these words were insanely humiliating for her. The girl did not understand why they treated her like that, because she loves her son very much and did nothing wrong to him. At this time, the woman ordered the guards to beat this shameless stranger for daring to touch her son. Suddenly, Chuan was hit by someone very hard. It was very cruel. She could not even react and defend herself. By some miracle, the guy woke up and grabbed the hand of the one who beat the girl. Without hesitation, he began to defend her and ordered to stop immediately. Then asked what she had done wrong, why they decided to punish her so cruelly. As it turned out, his mother believed that this girl deliberately mixed something into his glass in order to put him to sleep and spend the night with him. And besides, she was indignant that he did not believe the words of his own mother and dared to argue with her. Also tried to convince her that she is not as innocent as she seems and is very good at pretending. He also hopes that he can join the family. This his mother will never allow. Also, the lady who was chosen as the bride for the guy started to joke that the girl should not hope that she will be able to get Shen's love and trust. It became obvious that all the surrounding and acquaintances of the guy openly show that they are against this girl, but she does not understand what she did wrong and why they are doing this to her. She asked if Shen believes her that it was her feelings for him that never had anything to do with profit, or something fake and not sincere. She tried to explain that she was not to blame for anything, and everyone is mistaken that she is bad. But he asked if it was that Chuan had relationships with guys for some benefit. But the girl could not even imagine what he would ask, and doubt that she could be trusted, because she was as honest with him as possible and did not hide anything. But then, what she heard was even more insulting to hear. Shen said that for her sake he often had to quarrel with his relatives and protect her, and did not think that she would turn out to be as insidious as other women. Chuan could not imagine that one day he would listen to his mother and be sure that the girl only needed his wealth from him. And after walking up to that bride, he told the girl that it would be a disgrace if such a mean person as she joined their family. Chuan fought back her tears with all her might and could not understand why he said such words to her, because she had always sincerely loved him. The next day came. Shen's mother was very happy that her son finally listened to her and stopped communicating with that girl. One day, the guy saw that Chuan was doing laundry and asked his mother, "Don't they have servants? Why does she do it?" To which she replied to her son, "Everything is done for her own good, so she will finally learn how to do housework. And besides, laundry is not such a difficult task, so let her do the work." At this time, the guy was thinking about how he had a good time with Chuan, and maybe he should have followed his heart. After that, he asked if Chuan would become a household helper in their family. She was right there at the time. To which his mother told the girl that she watched all the time how she tries to do quality work, and if she has any grievances, she can say everything and not keep everything to herself. And suddenly, when they were holding hands, the girls got hurt. As it turned out, the woman somehow injured the girl's hand, whether on purpose or not, is unknown. This situation was very strange, because why would Shen's mother be interested in Chuan's grievances? It was not at all like her. But the guy asked not to be angry at his mother because she only has the best intentions, and she never wanted to hurt anyone. One day, Shen's fiancé noticed that Chuan was washing some clothes the wrong way and ordered to wash them by hand, because Auntie might be upset if her thing becomes spoiled. But Chuan didn't pay attention to the remarks, because she only thought of one thing. Shen's mother hurt her, and he just looked at it, and did not think about how humiliating she felt. When they were leaving for their business, the woman said that the girl finally learned how to cook, and since the guy is rarely at home, he should stay today to try her food, and he agreed. After that, the woman ordered the girl to go cook something delicious for them. But how hurt she was that she was in the role of a servant, and they do not believe that she sincerely loves Shen, and should have been in the place of that bride. After a while, she already prepared a chic dinner for their family. There were a lot of dishes, and it looked incredibly beautiful. Nobody could believe it was Chuan cooking. They appreciated how she tried and cooked everything with love, despite how they treat her. Everyone gathered and started to eat. Surprisingly, Chuan was sitting at the same table with them. But she didn't feel very comfortable. It was hard for her to see her loved one with someone else. She hated that girl and did not understand why she could be loved. When Shen's fiancé thanked for a very delicious dinner, but asked if it was impossible to cook food not so spicy, because Shen does not eat such things at all, and why there are no snacks on the table. Still, I would like to add them. Chuan immediately apologized and said that she would fix everything now. While the girl was correcting her mistakes, she heard that bride telling her aunt that the dishes were not good enough. It was better to call her friend the chef. She had already invited him, since he worked in some good restaurant in France. Sometime later the girl got a job, but everyone there knew about her past. And very often they made fun of her and spread gossip. Everyone allowed themselves to be very rude towards Chuan, despite the fact that she personally did nothing wrong to them. No one has the right to behave like this just because they know what she had in the past. This should not worry anyone and give rise to ridicule. Suddenly the boss came to the office. She saw 2 employees insulting Chuan and ordered to immediately return to her work. The girl apologized and said that she would immediately start working. She became uncomfortable because the boss saw how her colleagues addressed her. But the woman decided to help the girl and offered to rest, as she had already suffered too much and it would not hurt her to rest, so she can safely go home and not think about work for a while. This woman turned out to be a very kind person, even as a boss. She always tried to help everyone and treat everyone very well. Chuan is really lucky to have such a boss. At least somewhere, someone is on her side and notices how hard it is for her to cope with so many problems. Despite so many people who are rude to the girl, she still remains friendly to all people, even those who offend her. And of course, it's hard for her to accept that her loved one thought so badly of her and believed his mother. She dreamed that Shen would once remember how good they were and believe that the girl sincerely loves him. And she does not need his wealth and everything that belongs to the family. According to his mother, Chuan has not yet fully come to terms with the fact that she will no longer be able to be near him and feel his love every day again and again. Because if that happened, she'd have to go through such a stage very hard. All this story, heroes and events took place in one book, which was read by one girl, but she does not even suspect that soon all this will pretend to be in her life. Yes, everything that happens was just the plot of the book. Girls reacted very emotionally to what Chuan had to endure. Although the main character is handsome, he cannot treat girls like that. But what infuriated her most of all was that the main character endured it all. She likes it when they treat her like that. And how could one fall in love with such a scoundrel? In general, the girl would like to hit the author who wrote this idiotic book. Because of these outrages, she decided to write a bad review on this book's website. The girl does not even suspect that soon her life will change dramatically, and this is due precisely to that book. The next morning she is unaware of anything and lies in her warm and large bed. When it suddenly happened that someone addressed her as if she was the main character of that novel, it was like the voice of Shuang. But so far she did not pay attention to it, got out of bed and went to see who was calling her. It was very hard to open her eyes, but she still went to the door. The protagonist of the book turned out to be behind her, and it was not a dream at all. He came to apologize for something. But she still didn't realize it was all real, thought she was still sleeping and decided to hit him for everything he did to Chuan. She did it very sharply and strongly. Said how dare he act like this towards a girl who loved him so much. At this point, everything becomes even more interesting and unexpected. The girl realized what she had done and was afraid to look that man in the eye. Then immediately closed the door and hid in the room to realize what she had just seen. When suddenly she noticed something. Her room seemed to be different. Pink blanket, pink table, pink armchair. She did not understand what this nonsense is and how her room turned into this. After this, she was definitely confused. But suddenly she heard a voice that says the following: "I'm not a ghost. I am a multi-billion, elegantly designed elite gaming system." It was said that the girl would be able to return to her world if she completed the story missions of that same runaway bride. After that, the girl realized that this was apparently the same short story that she criticized last night. Rules were like this: 100 points are immediately awarded. Points are removed for slow execution, and as soon as they are gone, you have to return to the starting point. In addition, she lost 50 points for hitting the hero. The system immediately warned her to be careful. Shen was still standing outside the door. He did not understand what it all meant and wanted to talk. The girl could not fully understand what was happening. At this time, she heard from the system that from now on, she is the main character of Bai Chuan. Her first mission to forgive her lover and return to him. But this surprised the girl more and more. She could not believe that this was happening in real life. Suddenly, she thought what would happen if she died and quit the game. But the system can read minds and immediately responds to this. It will not work. In case of such a situation, the game will endlessly revive it until the mission is completed. At this time, Shen said that he would break down the door if she didn't open it right away. After that, she went out and asked what he was making noise. At this time, Shen grabbed the girl's hand and asked what was happening to her, and why did she treat him like that. To which she responded by hitting him with her head and saying that it was none of his business. After that, she immediately ran away so that he would not stop her and catch up. When the girl ran away and ended up somewhere on the street, the voice of the system turned to her and said that she had missed the last chance to save their relationship. Mission failed. But the girl could not understand why she should allow herself to be mocked, because she is not Chuan to forgive such things. And yet she asked, what is the next mission? She wanted to finish it as soon as possible. A system said she could guess since she had already read the whole story. The first thing that came to my mind was maybe I should make amends with that bride she can't stand. Bingo! The system answered her. But the girl hated girls' fights, especially with that crazy person. She didn't know how to stop it all, and wanted to get back to her normal life as soon as possible. Even hit the wall because of this. Because she did not choose this, and did not want to be the main character of this story. In addition, it was not clear if this is just a game, then why the pain is real. When suddenly a girl notices someone and thinks that someone is following her. It was some guy with blonde hair who obviously didn't want her to see him. Or maybe she didn't want her to think he was following her and just hid. But it seems that this really pissed her off and she ran to him. And even managed to catch up with him until he left. He did not have time to look back as she was very close. He certainly did not expect that he would anger this stranger so much, but perhaps this is due to the fact that she needed to unleash her anger on someone. When suddenly she attacked him and fell from above, then asked if he was following her and who sent him here. His face was too familiar. She wondered where she could have seen him before. But he tried to explain that it was just a misunderstanding and he did not follow her, since he just stood here for a long time, and they met absolutely by chance. But the girl decided to go to the police to find out who misunderstood whom. That guy noticed that this girl is much more irritable than she was a couple of days ago, although he thinks that this is not surprising, and the fact that girls change their mood too often, and this is normal. After that, he asked her not to hurry and took her by the hand. He wanted to apologize for making her angry, because he absolutely did not want to. After all, they had never quarreled before, and asked not to go to the police. but she said to let go of her hand, or else he would regret it. And at some point she thought, in any case, he must be one of the villains in the novel, but you need to check which of them was following her, because she forgot some points from this story. After that, that bride turned out to be nearby, who very much infuriated the girl. And of course, she couldn't miss the opportunity to say something hurtful to Chuan. She said that this girl managed to find a lover too quickly. And of course, because she initially hated this character in the book, and the fact that she tried to be rude to her in life, it really pissed her off. All this time that bride was trying to taunt them and make her uncomfortable with her questions and insults. But the girl asked to watch her words, since she and that guy have nothing to do with each other. Besides, she did not understand the purpose of her trying to hurt them. Because she has not been together with Shen for a long time, she has nothing to worry about. But even though she wanted not to create a conflict, her real personality did not let go of her insulting words to that person with blonde hair. In addition, the guy said how such a handsome guy like him can be a lover, to which the girl asked him to be quiet. They started arguing, and it proved that they weren't lovers at all. But that lady did not believe in it, and asked to bring him to Shen and explain everything so that he finally broke up with her. Only after that, the bride could calm down. In addition, she said that only she deserved such a charming man, and that girl should not interfere with their happiness. But the girl is not in the mood to tolerate such an attitude towards her. She is not Chuan, and can respond to such rudeness. That bride realized that the girl was very angry for such words. And suddenly, very unexpectedly, she hit that bride of Shen because she dared to insult her. That guy watched the girl try to get revenge on that impudent bride and wish her luck because after such blows there can be serious bruises. Suddenly the groom of that bride comes up to them. He sees that they clearly have a conflict. His bride saw that he approached and hopes that he will save her and take revenge on everyone who offended her. But all of a sudden this girl asked Chuan's forgiveness for being very rude to her and said all the wrong things, and even that she was right when Chuan hit her for saying that. But maybe she didn't say it sincerely. Chuan replied that if she had been polite, things would have been completely different. But suddenly she noticed that someone was standing behind her. And a chill ran sharply down her back. She knew for sure that someone was standing behind. And of course I was afraid of this because I didn't think that it was Shen who came. When he saw that his bride was being beaten, he immediately went up to her and asked if everything was all right with her. But she started lying about how she just wanted to talk Chuan into getting back together with him. Further, she continued to lie and make herself look good for the groom. And the guy who was standing next to the girl realized that it would be hard for her to explain how it really was. But she was already tired of it, and she wanted to end it. And immediately came up and said that she really pissed her off and had to slap her in the face. Shen said that she used to be kind, and how could she become so rude? He didn't recognize her at all. And then he took his beloved in his arms and carried him to a safe place. At this time, he promised to be always near her and protect her, so that such situations would not happen again. After that, Chuan heard the voice of the system. He said that the mission failed, there were no points left and everything would restart soon. We need to prepare. She started screaming that she already understood everything, and so that the system would quickly shut up. At that time, that guy did not understand who she was screaming at. The system restarts. She was sorry that she never found out the name of that guy, and told him that the next time they meet, they won't even remember what happened today. But he did not understand anything, and tried to understand what she meant. After that, he saw how she abruptly disappeared and he was left there alone. And wondering who she is? This time, Chuan was sure that she could do it on the first try, because she already knows the rules and everything that will happen next. So much easier to tune in to what will happen. The girl began to make up and put herself in order, because she knows that soon someone will come to her, and you need to be in good shape. When she looked at herself in the mirror, she thought that it was possible, at the sight of such beauty, to fall in love with herself. After that, she enjoyed her appearance for a long time. Some time later, she saw Shen, but this time it was not her room, but a completely different place. Guy was interested in how she was doing and said that he missed her a lot. It was hard for him to be without her. He started making excuses for what he did to her before, but the girl wanted to quickly skip this plot and skip this awkward, useless conversation. Suddenly, the voice of the system asked her if she sometimes seems to act rebellious when playing this game. But she replied that if she were such a rebel, would she be standing next to him now? Shen asked for forgiveness and said that she will forever remain in his heart. No one can replace. She was very pleased to hear it. At some point he noticed that something was wrong with her and asked if she was sick. It was no surprise, since a girl was in the game, and how can she feel comfortable being so close to an unfamiliar man? And at that moment she answered that everything was fine with her, and there was no need to worry about this. After that she asked how they are doing with the bride that his mother chose for him. He said that he discussed everything with her, and she cried for a long time after parting, but she is an understanding girl, and will soon accept it. Suddenly the girl began to think that if she wants to complete this task successfully, first you need to calm him down, and when the task with his ex begins, then she simply has to shake her hand, even if she doesn't want to. Shen began to talk about how he didn't think about her feelings last time, and after that he thought about his behavior for a long time. He realized that he had made many mistakes, and asked if Chuan would be able to forgive him after such a... At that moment she could not think that he would ask for forgiveness, and sincerely admit his guilt. After these words, the girl wanted to thank the author for creating such an incredibly sweet character, although she hated him before. He seemed to her then the best person. She was incredibly pleased to communicate with him. The guy saw that the girl could forgive him and immediately hugged her very tightly. After this, she will definitely never forget their meeting. Suddenly she notices that when they are taken away, the muscles in his inflated body are very strongly felt. It drives her crazy and imagines what it is like without clothes. When suddenly he starts to allow himself too much, and started touching her under her clothes. She was a little shocked and angry. She could not understand if everything was happening too fast, and why this was not told in the book. It was unpleasant for her, and of course after this she had to immediately push him away, because it was already too much for a girl who had no relationship with guys before. And at some point when she was running, she didn't notice, and she ran into the guy who used to follow her, and she disappeared before his eyes before the reboot. She didn't expect to see him like this, and all of a sudden they asked at the same time if they remembered each other. Chuan realized that it seems that the guy can remember her, because he looked at her as if he knew. But the system said that it was impossible. He can't know her. Suddenly he asked, "Is she by any chance Bai Chuan?" To which she replied that something like that. At the same time she did not understand how he could remember her and know her after the reboot. When suddenly he asked, "Is she really going to that alley?" To which she replied that she would run into one upstart there, and this time she would not go there. But it seems to him that he has already seen all this. The girl asked did he see her fight Ling Mo? To which he replied, was it not a dream? After that they were completely confused and did not understand why he remembers some moments that he should not. In addition, they were embarrassed that the date was wrong, and they need to figure everything out. The guy said that he has a habit of writing down what he does every day. But since he met Chuan, time seems to have stopped. He began to live again on the 22nd day. How is this possible? To which the girl replied, the events of yesterday are happening today. It's not a dream. He did not dream. Everything just repeats. And if he does not believe in it, as soon as Ling Mo comes here, he will hear what she will say. But he did not believe until the last that this was possible, and thought that this was just a repetition of a dream. And it seemed to him that yesterday he experienced the same thing, only in a dream. And at some point Ling Mo really comes. She asked why Chuan is here and where is Shen. The guy is in complete shock from the fact that everything is really repeating one-on-one like yesterday, and began to gradually move back, because it's hard to believe that this is possible. Lin started asking again, is this guy not her lover by any chance? This angered him, and he asked why she calls him that. Is it really impossible to choose another word? He reacted like that because he was shocked and did not understand what was happening. After that he started yelling at Chuan that this is all a dream and she is not real. This cannot happen in real life. But she tried to stop him and explain everything in detail so that he would not be nervous. The girl said that this day is really repeating, and the reason for this is related to her, but she also cannot understand something why he has memories, and despite this, if she fails to complete the mission, then he will again relive this day. He should accept it and finally come to terms. So that he does not think that he is going crazy. He just needs to survive it and not be nervous. He asked if she really wanted to say that he was in a time loop because of her. It's impossible to believe. But she replied that this is really so. This game is a complete lie. She also cannot do anything about it, and is not at all delighted with what is happening. At this moment, Ling Mo thought that they couldn't hear her at all, and once again asked where Shen was. But it looks like the girl is up to something, since one of her tasks is to establish a good relationship with her, but it turns out that this is impossible. In that case, he will have to see for himself how everything happens. This is something the system cannot control in any way, and you can change the course of events a little. He can give her a chance, and she can give him a chance to survive the rollback of time, and if he has any memories, then she had a plan for this case. Make an alliance with him. No matter how strange this may sound, she cannot do otherwise. But now Shen is right outside the door, so you need to first calm him down and then run away from him unnoticed. But it wasn't Shen at all behind the door. She never expected to see this person there. That fellow was standing there, but why did he come? It was very unexpected and against the system. As it turned out, he invited the girl to his house and offered to spend some time together. As it turned out, they were neighbors, and after they entered Song Qian's apartment, he said to feel at home. When the girl was looking at his apartment, she noticed that he had a lot of items that are related to the police. After that, she asked if he works as a policeman. It looks like he is some kind of investigator, but he replied that he used to work there. Chuan asked what he was doing then, but it turned out that he was a detective. At least he answered that way. After that, the girl asked who ordered him to follow her and find out where she lives, to which he asked if he could not avoid this question, because I didn't really want to answer it. From this moment, the most interesting begins. The girl found out that he is a detective and decided to ask him for some information. Maybe he knows something that is interesting to Chuan. Well, the guy said very interesting information. Mo Xingsheng's mother will become her mother-in-law. The girl could not understand how he knew such information. Well, she obviously did not want such a mother-in-law. It would be hard with her. Since then, Chuan offered to cooperate, but the guy did not understand when they managed to become partners. But first he needed to clarify something. It remains a mystery to him why they are stuck in a time loop, and what is the other task that she needs to complete. And to show her sincerity, she promised to tell everything she knew. But these things can't be explained in a few words, and why don't they introduce themselves first? She asked. He said his name is Song Qian. He is a detective and his job is to follow her. But the girl decided to cheat and said that her name is Shi Baba, and she is a huge, lazy person. But it looks like he didn't fully believe her, and said that if he remembers correctly, her name is Bai Chuan. But the girl tried to confuse him, and said, did she have anything in common with Chuan besides her appearance? But it seems that she managed to convince him. He began to remember that indeed, Bai Chuan, whom he knew, was cute, and this one in front of him was not so at all. And maybe she's an alien from a parallel world. This can also be... But Chuan asked to stop inventing because it's too much, and continued to tell information about herself. When she entered this world in the body of Bai Chuan, and must complete a task in order to return back, they are given by the system. If they are not dealt with, they will forever be stuck in this day on the 22nd. All this information turned out to be like from some science fiction movie, and it was hard to accept it and move on. After that, he asked if she still had any secrets that she could keep hiding until now. But it was not easy for the girl to try to make the guy understand that she also ended up in this situation against her will, but she managed to accept it, and he still cannot get used to it and put up with it. So I tried to say that now is not the time to understand something. You need to find a way as soon as possible in order to complete all the tasks and not go through all the levels again. And yet he agreed, said that he would be happy to help in any way he could, because this is also important for him. No one wants to stay in this game for a long time. Chuan was glad that he finally managed to explain everything, and he would no longer consider her crazy. After that, they started discussing Xingsheng. Everyone knows that his origin and appearance are flawless, and a lot of girls dream of dating him. And Song Qian asked why she can't deal with it. Chuan said that this is the second attempt. The first time she didn't succeed. She had to go through everything again. These are the rules of the system. Besides, he is such a person who does not respect girls, is not suitable for a self-respecting girl like her. After these words, Song Tian started kicking Chuan out of his apartment, but he had just agreed to help. The girl asked why he changed his mind so quickly. It turned out that he was embarrassed that she failed such a simple task twice. But Chuan reminded him that if she failed, he would also have to live this day again. Isn't he afraid of that? This pissed him off even more. Everything seemed too hard and impossible. In addition, the system creates some strange tasks that cannot be dealt with the first time. And he just decided not to take part in it, so that the girl herself dealt with all this. But still, Chuan hoped that he was joking and would not leave her, because she, just like him, does not know how to pass this game. All of a sudden, he did suggest one option. When Shen comes and asks them to be together again, no need to wait until he starts asking for forgiveness. Just need to forgive him right away, and then everything will be perfect. And even if something goes wrong, Chuan can stand up for himself and stop him. And after reconciliation, it would be nice to go on a date with Shen. Song Tian suggested that Chuan take matters into her own hands and tell him that she wants to have a regular date, otherwise things might not go according to plan. When suddenly at some point the elevator rang, they realized that Shen was close and they needed to get down to business immediately. Chuan promised that she would try her best this time. She began to approach him loudly on purpose, so that he would notice her and not be scared. After that, she said hello and said that he was back, while making a very sweet and joyful expression on her face. Song Tian hoped the girl would succeed this time. At this time, Shen and Chuan approached each other, and Shen asked if she was more angry with him, to which the girl replied that she knew how much he loved her. She was too emotional and made a little mistake. After that, Shen said that it was his fault for not being able to control his attitude towards her, and asked to be sure that he would never hurt her again. Chuan said that of course she believed him. At this time, the system let know that the task was successfully completed. They reconciled and earned 50 points. Further, the girl remembered that she needed to spend time with him, under the pretext that she became stuffy and needed to go for a walk. Of course, Shen said that he would go with her. For now, everything is going according to plan. Chuan suggested that we can go somewhere nearby and take a walk. Just Ling Mo should be somewhere in this area. When they entered the elevator, the situation was a little uncomfortable for her, because she's looking at her with a man with tenderness in his eyes. He began to say that he constantly missed her even during work, but the girl began to dislike these conversations more and more, because everything is just a script, and she does not have any feelings for him. So she waited quickly for them to get out of the elevator, and there would be more free space, and become much more comfortable. And despite all the inconvenience and the desire to end everything, she offered to talk with him and spend time together. At some point, Shen said that flowers began to bloom at his house and suggested that Chuan look at them, because it's worth it. And of course, the girl agreed. And she realized that a man in love is scarier than a woman in love. And it's not that easy to be the main character in a romantic novel. While they were walking to his house, Ling Mo noticed them along the way. Shen asked what she was doing here, to which she said that she was very worried about him and did not know where to look for him. At the same time, he held Chuan's shoulder and specifically made it clear that they were together. Ling Mo, of course, noticed it, and she obviously didn't like it. She asked if they made up, to which the guy replied that she did not need to worry about them. And for some reason, Lin Mo started hugging the girl and asking for forgiveness. Chuan understood that everything was going as she planned, and said that of course she forgives her. At this time, Chuan was thinking that this time she would definitely regain the role of the main character, and was looking forward to Ling Mo starting her performance. They started to go about their business, but Ling Mo asked how is she, are they really leaving her? And said that she also wanted to join them and asked to join. The guy sighed heavily, but did not know what to answer her, because he wanted to spend time only with Chuan, and did not think that he would have to do it in the company of Lin Mo. At this time, Chuan said that if she wants to go with them, then you need to invite her and agree to go with her. But it still seemed that ex-fiancé was just pretending to be calm. Everything annoys her very much. And because of this, she wants to ruin Shenu and Chuan's date, pretending that she just wants to look at the flowers. When they approached his car, a very strange situation happened. No one thought that Ling Mo would behave like this. At the time when Shen opened the door for his beloved and offered to sit down, something strange just happened. The ex-fiancé took advantage of this and sat in the front seat first to sit next to Shen all the way, and asked if his girlfriend mind if she sits in the back and not next to him. The guy certainly did not expect such, that she would allow herself so much and be too impudent. But Chuan tried to keep calm and react normally, even though she was shocked that Ling Mo allowed herself. She said that she is still young, let her sit where she wants, and does not mind if she has to sit in the back. The guy understood what a kind girl he had. He was pleased that even in such a situation when she could get angry and leave, she behaved with dignity and did not go on about this abnormal ex-bride. That kind of reaction made Lin Mo even more angry, which is what Chuan wanted. She wanted her to show her real self at some point, get furious and run away. During the road, his ex constantly remembered how they used to be in this place, thereby wanting to piss off his beloved girlfriend. But the guy did not react to this and understood that you just need to stop listening to her and, of course, her tricks. Because it won't end well, she wants him to fight with his girlfriend. But still, after these stories, Chuan got a little upset. Her boyfriend realized that something was wrong and asked why she was so upset about something, to which she replied that she was very sorry because she did not know anything about his past, and it would not hurt to tell each other about themselves someday, something new or something interesting from their lives before they met each other. But he replied, not exactly as she imagined. He said that the past is in the past, and they can create an incredible amount of wonderful memories for themselves in the future. While they were talking, Lin Mo realized that she could not make them quarrel or somehow worsen the situation. This is all because they really love each other and do not succumb to these provocations, because they perfectly understand what she is, for God in the car with them. When they arrived at their destination, the guy was the first to get out of the car and offered to help his beloved get out of the car, thereby showing concern for her, which, of course, she noticed and was delighted with such an act. But for some reason his ex allowed herself to ask why he didn't help her get up, and they left without waiting for her to come up to them too. Apparently she began to allow herself too much. To which Shen replied that she has her own legs and arms, so by the way it should not be hard for her, and who is she for him to take care of it? He has someone to look after. But she got angry and said that his beloved could also handle it herself and get up with the car, and why then did he help her? But she didn't. To which Chuan offered to still calm this capricious child and help her get up, but the guy was against it and said that he did not owe her anything. Let him not hope that she deserved such an attitude, as if she meant something to him. He had long I forgot her, and she's just a friend. After that, he said not to make him nervous and get out of the car immediately so he wouldn't have to repeat himself twice. Lin Mo, when she heard this, she immediately said that she was just joking, and I don't understand why he treats her so cruelly, while walking behind and trying to draw some attention to herself. Chuan couldn't let this upstart relax and decided to provoke her, but how is she going to do it? She must have some idea. She was already eager to finally expose this actress, because she had long dreamed of doing it. And finally such an opportunity had come, and the girl could not miss such a chance. The couple has already gone far enough, because they are already tired of hearing her voice. After all, they did not invite her with them and should not behave kindly with her. Moreover, she does not deserve it. And very soon everyone will be convinced of this. And see who she is, because it's time to show her your real face. Meanwhile, the guy who was waiting for the girl until she completed the task began to worry because she did not inform him of anything, and it had already been quite a long time. Did everything go wrong, and she was in some kind of trouble? But at this time, she was already returning to him. He was looking forward to at least some information and hoped that everything worked out for them. Began to ask how everything went, and found out what happened that day, because he was very interested to know what happened while he was waiting for her. But the first thing she said was that she was very hungry and would really like to eat something tasty because she had not eaten anything all day and was hungry. In her hands she had a bag with some kind of box. These were some nutritional supplements that Shen gave her. She immediately gave them to the guy and went somewhere. But it turned out that he had nothing to eat at home, but no one was going to eat these supplements. This is abnormal food. Besides, I wanted something hot. It turns out that the girl mixed up and went to rest in his room. He brought her a glass of water and asked, after she tells him about what happened today, go to her room, because he also wants to rest himself in his room. When the girl drank a glass of water, she began to tell how her day had finally come, and she said that in Shen's imagination, she was obedient and sweet, because she pretends well, and even tries to dress in the style of his beloved. When they came to the villa to piss off the girl, Ling Mo revealed her true self. She tried to say that Shen would end up with her anyway, and they would be happy, despite the fact that he is still in love with Chuan. But the girl understood that this was just an attempt to piss her off, and tried not to pay attention to it. At this time, Ling Mo began to get incredibly angry and was about to hit Chuan. It was the perfect moment to use this opportunity against her. Just at that time, Shen came up to them and saw how his beloved was pushed by that crazy ex. And from that moment on, the image of a cute girl turned into something much worse, and he understood what she really is. Moreover, now he knows her real attitude towards Chuan. And because of this, he feels even more guilty that he allowed her to walk with them. On this task was completed, Chuan told her friend all the details and thanked for the water. But he remembered that she wanted something hot to eat, but did not know what to offer her, because there was nothing at home. She felt very pleased, and she thought that he wanted to treat her to something tasty, and since she was very hungry, she would not refuse such an offer. And while he wanted to try to say something about the fact that there is nothing, something incomprehensible happened. But what was it? She began to see him badly and seemed to lose consciousness. Perhaps this was due to the fact that she had not eaten anything all day. Suddenly began to fall sharply. The guy definitely didn't expect such a thing and didn't understand what was happening to her, because just now everything was fine, and it happened too abruptly. Girl ended up in some other space. She did not know where she was and why everything around is so dark. It seemed that perhaps the game system malfunctioned when she asked for a hot meal instead of a glass of water from a friend. But she immediately received an answer. The system is fine. However, the main character has a very low level of stamina, so she lost consciousness. In order for everything to return to normal and get better, it will take about 6 hours, to which the girl asked if it was possible to somehow speed it up. And it turned out to be much easier than she thought. It was just necessary to exchange 10 accumulated points for 2 points of physical strength. But the system recommended to exchange everything she has, and the girl began to try to exchange 10 accumulated points for 2 points of physical strength. And at that moment, stamina immediately increased, and Chuan literally in a second found herself in that very room and immediately opened her eyes. She was already on the bed. Her friend made sure that she was not lying on the floor and carried her to the bed, but at the same time he was very scared for her. He did not expect that she would wake up so quickly, and her condition would return to normal in just a minute. But suddenly, at that moment, for some reason, she decided to push her friend away from her with her foot, and he fell to the floor, because the blow was very strong. He asked why she became so cruel, because he just wanted to put her on the bed, and had she never seen such handsome guys around. But it turned out that she was just scared when she saw him so close. And at this time she realized that 2 points of physical strength work wonders. A few minutes later, and the guy said that she had lost consciousness, and asked how she felt now. She was very dizzy due to lack of blood sugar. She said she'll be fine if she eats something as soon as possible. Her friend immediately realized that she needed to be fed as soon as possible, and asked him to just wait in the room. He will do everything now and bring food. While he was cooking for her, he thought about the fact that a couple of minutes ago she was weak, but suddenly became cheerful and strong. And I noticed that Shi Baba is really different from Bai Chuan. Despite the fact that they are very similar, their character is completely different. And he was a little pissed off that when she fails, he has to go back to the beginning too, but he still has the strength to accept it. And decided to look into this matter when the time comes. He can't constantly monitor her, it's impossible. A little time passed and the guy cooked her a delicious dinner. The food was very hot and beautiful. Of course, the girl thanked him for his hospitality. She was pleased that someone was taking care of her. Instead of sitting at the table for a long time and enjoying delicious food, while talking and having a good time, and at some point her phone rang, In theory, it should have been Shen's mother. Girl picked up the phone and answered the call. It turned out that they wanted to invite her to the Mo family mansion. Madame Mo really wanted to see Chuan for some reason, but it was not clear why. Received a new task from the system: restore the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. For this, she can get 200 bonus points, but if she fails, she will lose her own 200 points and get nothing. Of this task everyone was most afraid of. After all, they were sure that no one would ever be able to complete it, and it was not clear how it was possible to pass this level at all. But there were no options. Something had to be done, and as soon as possible. It depends on when they will return to their normal life. So the girl decided to ask to get information about that woman. But her friend at first refused because it's not professional. Besides, this woman ordered him to keep an eye on Chuan, and he can't work on both sides. After that, she said that then she would fail the task and they would start all over again. Of course, after this, he agreed. Said that she is right. You need to overcome yourself and do it for her. After all, they are both interested in passing this test. Of course, the girl was glad that she managed to convince him, although it was not difficult at all. It is very easy to convince him and make him do something. After that, he told everything he knew about the habits and preferences of a woman, and asked if possible not to spoil everything and finally complete the task the first time. Since he is just a victim of circumstances and does not want to be accused of something later. But the girl asked how he cannot sympathize with her, and not understand that this is really a difficult task, and you cannot demand such a thing from her. On the occasion of being allies, her friend gave her some kind of pendant. He was a locator. He could be contacted with it at any time if there was a problem. And said that together, they would definitely cope with Madame Mo. In addition, I thought that I did not expect to give her a gift in such a situation, and that it would pass in this way. She really liked the necklace. It was silver in the shape of the moon. She asked how she looked with it, to which her friend replied that it suits her crazy. But the main thing is that with the help of it, it will be possible to quickly contact and solve some problem together. So the gift was really useful and beautiful. But it was a very important detail. There were no such events in the book, and it was hard to understand how best to act in a situation. After all, this greatly complicated the task, and you had to do something, and think about every step ahead. Morning came. Shen's mother sat with her daughter-in-law, whom she had chosen earlier for her son, and promised that she would not see anyone besides her next to her son. At some point, someone came into their room. That bride said that this must be Chuan, and since she is Shen's lover, you need to let her in and let her sit down. Well, this did not please Madame Mo. She was not at all happy about her appearance. Ling Mo asked to bring tea for the guest. It was interesting how this meeting will end. Chuan came in and thanked Miss Lin for her courtesy and asked what made Madame Mo invite her today. Shen's mother said that she heard that she and her son were dating again, and as expected of a beggar, she knows absolutely nothing about etiquette, sat on a chair without even asking permission. But the girl was not taken aback, and replied that they really broke up, but he said that he couldn't live without her, and begged to return. She was probably just his type, and everyone else was trying in vain to get his attention, and asked that bride, wasn't it? Of course, it was very brave, and really hurt Lin Mo. They did not expect that the girl would finally be able to stand up for herself and respond to them properly. But the boy's mother didn't believe that he couldn't live without Chuan, and told him not to even think that someone like her could become part of their family and visit their house. After all, she's just a toy that he throws away when he gets bored. Chuan said that she didn't even plan to come to their house, and it was she who invited her, and the girl, just for the sake of decency, agreed. This made the aunt very angry. Her beloved sister-in-law tried to calm her down as best she could. But the girl also wanted to say that you don't need to insult her like that, because she treats her in the same way as she treats her. If she thinks that she is a toy, then why did she invite her to her house? And said that in addition, when they try to separate lovers, they only want to be together more. So it's worth leaving Shen alone. Maybe someday they will break up, because they will stop loving each other. But if Auntie wants them to break up, how about They can give her 300 million and she will immediately break up with her son and go somewhere far away, so he can't find her. No one expected this from her, and Auntie said that even if she gave the girl this money, she would not be able to use it. It was done on purpose. Madame Mo, of course, won't give any money. The main thing is just to make her choose the first option and not interfere in their relationship. The old woman just agreed to watch their lives and wait until they parted, because she could not pay her such a sum. At this time, the girl was offered to go to the room. Everything was already prepared for her, but after this, she did not want to stay there for a second and wanted to leave this house as soon as possible. That blonde has to spend time with Madame Mo every day in order to be able to be alone with Shen, and she can't let Bai Chuan show up here just like that. But she was afraid that he would come home today and they would see Chuan. She asked her aunt about this. But that old woman had a plan. She asked to play along with her, and that daughter-in-law agreed. The woman said that she should remind Chuan that being a wife of an independent man is not easy, and so that she does not think that she does not notice her tricks. The money was just an excuse for her to accept the girl, and promised that she would not spoil the relationship with her son because of her. Since he likes her, she will have to leave them alone. But as soon as he sees her real face, she will immediately throw her out, and today it will be so. Let Chuan stay the night. At this time, the girl was frightened that she did not cope with the task, but everything seems to be going well and there is no reason to worry. The system said it's not that easy. The progress bar is only half full. The start is good, but you need to continue in the same spirit. Despite the fact that it is quite difficult to cope with these tasks, you should try not to forget about rest because it is very important for health. The girl immediately went to her room, which the staff had prepared for her, and enjoyed the soft bed. When she was resting, she got a call from Song Qian. He wanted to know how she was doing and if she could cope with the level. Chuan said that it was only half done, and anyway, there's nothing to worry about yet. The old lady let me stay the night and try to be nice all day. But still you want her son to no longer meet Chuan. He said that he understood everything and asked not to call for nothing. After that, he simply hung up. The girl thought that he was too indifferent partner. Did he really care? But what was happening in her house? And what could be more important than this information? At this time, some girl came to Song Tian to thank him as a detective. As a gift, she prepared something that she made with her own hands for him. He was very pleased, but he said that he shouldn't have bothered so much. He had not been thanked for something for a long time and did not give gifts, so he was very embarrassed and blushed on his face. But still, the girl wanted to sincerely thank him and insisted that he still accept this gift. After that, that girl gave the box and immediately ran away somewhere. But Song Qian did not open the gift and hid it in a box, and at that time could not understand why she ran away so abruptly and did not say goodbye, and suggested that it was because the girl liked such a handsome man like him, and yet it is difficult to be such an incredible and gorgeous guy. Well, suddenly he notices something is not right. What happened? He noticed something strange, but it is not yet clear what made him think. The guy noticed that he did not leave this notebook and pens here, and immediately heard some footsteps outside the door. He thought it was the girl who gave him the present back. He opened the door and wanted to say that he was grateful to everyone for the gift, but no one was there. Who could it be? The atmosphere was somehow restless. It was empty around and there was not a single person. But there was definitely someone behind the door, and he thought that maybe someone was spying on him. Since he is a detective who is well versed in his field, he immediately proceeded to clarify this situation, because if he does not deal with it later, it may be worse for him. He went to his detective longing, but so far it was not clear what he was up to and how he was going to figure out this invisible man. He plucked something from his board, and apparently he knows what he is doing. Began to carefully study everyone whose photos were on this board of crimes and investigations. I wanted to solve this riddle as soon as possible, but there was a feeling that it was all not good, and it didn't seem to him at all. Someone was behind the door. There is speculation that this girl who gave the gift is related to this, but this is just guesswork. Evening came. Shen came to the house in a taxi, and his mother said that he very rarely appears at home. And why did he decide to come now? Has something happened? But he said he was just bored. Lin Mo supported the woman and said that he should come more often. He had completely forgotten about the family. Auntie noticed and said that Lin Mo is the best and most caring girl, while looking at Chuan from the side, watching her reaction. The old woman asked her son to sit next to her, But Chuan knew that in this way his mother was trying to show her influence over Shen. But he immediately said that Chuan was his girlfriend, and that he had already found out that they had met. After that, he asked not to talk about trifles and start dinner, since the whole family had not gathered for a very long time, and invited his girlfriend to sit down and have dinner with them. This dinner was the most embarrassing. She didn't really want to spend time with this old lady and her beloved, what she thinks future daughter-in-law. At some point, the guy said that it was Chuan who asked him to visit his family, but he did not expect that his mother would invite her to their house for dinner, and thought that they found a common language. To which his mother replied that it was not so at all. And after he found a girlfriend because of this, he will become less focused on the family. Well, he said he wasn't going to do it, and you shouldn't worry about it. After that, the old woman said that since their house is too big, they can easily accommodate one guest, and since Chuan is dear and important to him, she will try to accept her, although she does not quite want to see her in her house, and said that she will give a chance to be together if he hasn't changed his mind. This made him very happy. He was pleased that his mother takes care of them so much and tries to accept his choice. And said that Chuan also hopes that someday they will be able to communicate well, because they should be a big and strong family. The girl at that time made a fake smile because she had to play along that she really wants to improve relations with his family. In addition, Chuan perfectly understood that his mother was pretending in the same way and saying what he wants to hear, and not what he thinks on actually. After dinner, Shen guided the girl to his room and asked her not to worry about everything getting better soon. In fact, his mother is a very kind and good person. Besides, she gave a chance, so there is hope that she will still accept their marriage. To which she asked to deal with that Ling Mo, as the girls think that she says bad things about her to his mother. But these are just guesses. But he replied that it would be hard, and he didn't know if he could start this conversation. This answer angered Chuan very much, because he only wants others to try, and he himself does not even try to stand up for his loved one. He wants to hit him, but has to smile at him in response. After that, he hugged her and said that he would sleep in the next room, asked not to worry, and wished good night. They said goodbye and Shen went to bed. The girl thought that he was trying too hard to be on good terms with his mother, that he was completely afraid to say something bad to her, and no matter how handsome he was very stupid and naive. Because she can't rely on Shen, the task has become even more difficult, and now it's not clear what his mother is up to. So the girl decided to ask Song Chiakia. After all, he will surely be able to help and suggest something. Chuan told him that it seems to her that everything is going very badly. Madame Mo is up to something, and she needs to somehow resist. Well, she doesn't know how to do it. To which Song Chiakia said that she had always been a ruthless person in business, and she will most likely act tough. No need to hope that she will be a weak opponent. And he also said that the old lady is faking giving her a chance to earn a blessing, and as soon as there is some problem, it will be Chuan's fault. And then it will be difficult to blame her for something. After that, they began to think what they could do against the girl in order to force her to admit guilt and relieve Madame Mo of any responsibility. They use her as bait. But this is Madame Mo's territory, and it will be difficult for Chuan to influence her actions. The possibility of turning the situation in her favor is almost zero. Something must be urgently invented. Song Chiakia advised that you should try your best not to approach her and not give a reason to reproach yourself. Therefore, he will not be able to help anymore. After these words, the girl realized that he should not be counted on. He will never be able to help. And after the conversation decided to go to bed. But different thoughts did not let her sleep. Because of this, she was very tired and was afraid to make some kind of mistake. At this time, her friend suggested that with a temper like hers, one should be prepared to start all over again, because she might not be able to cope with the task. All night, and we had some terrible dreams due to the fact that they were not given peace of mind by the Mo family. Morning seemed completely unkind, as desired. The girl had nightmares all night because she was too addicted to this game, probably because everything seems too realistic. So I decided to go outside and get some fresh air. Well, I saw how Ling Mo is near Shen's door and knocks on it. But why does she do it? And what did this upstart forget there? Chuan asked what she came for, and what she needed from Shen at such an early time. Lin answered very aggressively and said that she couldn't sleep, so she walked around the house and didn't have to report to anyone. If she only knew that Chuan would stay, she would have gone away. But Chuan said that she knows everything. She goes here because it's hard to resist and not sneak a peek into his room. This started to piss off that fair-haired person even more. She no longer knew how to justify being here. At this moment, Chuan could not resist and said that soon she and her beloved would have a wedding. So it's worth accepting this and not interfere with their happiness, and invited her to become a bridesmaid. Of course, this was sarcasm. This phrase woke me up even more from Ling Mo. She could no longer listen to it. When suddenly Ling let it slip and said that as soon as Auntie gets to the hospital, Shen will immediately forget about her. After that, she realized that she had said something superfluous. And it seems this is due to the fact that there is a plan to destroy them relationship. After that, the girl understood everything and was convinced that someone was trying to deceive everyone and achieve something. But in what way? And what about the hospital?